Dr. Palamara.
Yeah.
Got it.
Hello. Yeah, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
We have about 3 minutes. Well, all the beeps come in.
I just got out of class, so I'm running around crazy.
And so for those of you that don't know, while we're waiting, we have 2 minutes, you can move, since we have just a community of people that will be joining us, you can actually move the speakers if you drag their box.
Dana, you're muted, I think.
No,
Are you muted?
No.
No? Maybe I'm muted.
no, you're not muted. We hear you. Can you hear us now?
Yeah, that's my own fault. Sorry. You're
It's
not-
okay. You know, you music technologist, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
So what I was saying was for the, if you're in the gallery view, you can move, and this may work really well as people come in at different times. If we put all the speakers and the board members at the top, I'm actually going to put Dr. Palamara, I'm going to move you right up to the upper left, and Dr. Yoon to the upper right. And I'm going to put Dr. Addix, well, you know, now it's being like one of those puzzles. When I move one, it moves another, but there is some, it is like one of those puzzles where you move it and everything else moves, but there is a way to position people where you'd like them, which makes the most sense for your viewing pleasure.
Sounds good.
Great.
Hello, Brendan. How are you?
Hey, good to see you again, Kristen.
Yeah, good to see you. Is everything going well? Is it end of the semester? More like?
I think we're all coming close, right?
Yeah.
I just taught my last class, so I'm done as of right now.
For the whole semester?
Mic drop. It's done.
Well, I just filled your inbox with 200 plus pages. So in case you're bored.
I saw that. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thanks for doing that right now. Good timing.
I knew you needed it. So we'll wait a few minutes so that everybody that's coming in can join us. We'll just wait a couple minutes. So that we don't have the dings beeping. Oh, I like those cords in that picture. Reminds me of the telephone cords we used to find back in behind the houses when they were doing construction when I was a kid.
By the way, is it possible to share my screen from time to time? Is
Yes,
that okay?
let me make sure that I have permissions. Yes, and you should be able to do that. And if it gives us a problem, we will fix that at the time, but it looks like you should be fine.
Great, thank you.
Welcome. Hello, for those just coming in, we're waiting just another moment for last minute people to arrive. Of course, people can come anytime, but we'll just wait one more moment before officially beginning. And we are being recorded, so just in case you didn't get that notification. So let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to everyone in attendance. I am Dana Keehan-Goot. I'm the Director of Communications and the moderator for today for ATMI. And this is a continuation of some previous online forums that we'd like to continue into the future, doing a few each year. And from the ATMI board, we have Dr. Barry Addix as the president. Is Jason here? Jason Fick, I don't see him yet. He's our vice president. Tony Morosco is our secretary. Brenda McConnell, our treasurer, and myself. Let me know if I forgot anyone. And then our very special guest today, we would like to welcome Dr. Jason Palamara, Assistant Professor of Music Technology at Indiana University, Indianapolis. He's also the founder and director of IU Indianapolis's DIS Ensemble and leader of the Machine Musician Lab. Dr. Palamara specializes in creating AI-driven music software. Also with us, we're very pleased to present Dr. Kristen Yeon-Ji. Did I say that correctly?
Yeon-Ji, but yeah, it was
Yes.
pretty close.
Pretty close.
Yeah,
Dr.
good.
Yeon-Ji, a performing cellist and clinical associate professor of music at Purdue University. She leads a multidisciplinary research project that explores the transformative potential of AI in musical performance. Dr. Yoon and her team are developing AI tools designed to enhance both individual and ensemble performances. So welcome, Dr. Palamara and Dr. Yoon. So as we are going through today, we're going to have a somewhat semi-formal method of proceeding and questions, but we would really just like to start with your sharing with us your current projects, developments, and how you have integrated AI tools for music education in the classroom. And would anyone like to start? Or you could both talk at the same time. That's fine with me.
I'd be happy to start if
Okay.
if that's okay. Yeah, so my current projects I'm working on a couple different things. I have an embodied AI project called the Emergency Musical Hologram that basically that creates a visual playback system for sort of like linking the visual of a performer to the sound of a performer. So I also have another, so like basically I have this other project called Avatar. The point behind that is that you play and it improvises along with you. And that's a project I work on with Professor Scott Deal here in the building. And so he plays with Avatar, and he plays percussion instruments, and the idea is basically that Avatar just listens and plays along, and it starts when he starts, stops when he stops. It doesn't need any special instructions, and you can kind of put more restrictions on it than that, but that's basically the setup. When we were in the middle of that project, I was watching it and I was like, it's very hard for people to understand what the connection is between the electronic sounds and like where it's coming from. People kept, sort of mistaking it for fixed media piece. And I was like, no, this is all improvised. It's being, created in the moment. So I thought, well, what about a side project that just creates the visuals, so currently we use videos of live performers. So I have my students create those. And then, there's basically a system that sort of like links up, like when the system that is when the Avatar system is playing a note, it fires this video of a musician playing that note. So it's fun, especially since like the students can do kind of like whatever they want in the videos. So I mean, some of them are like, playing the instrument with their elbows or something, and that ends up being pretty fun. Aside from that, I'm also it just got approved. So I suppose I'll announce it here. I'm writing a book with Routledge, so more on that down the road probably. So but it'll be a book about music, AI and live performance, and just topics relating to that.
Great. And Dr. Yoon, could you tell us what you're currently working on?
Yeah, so first, I'm very honored and honored and also excited to talk about my research. So I'm a cellist, so I have been performing in and out of school and in and out of country. But so Purdue is strong in engineering and science. So I have been collaborating with some other faculty members and have been working on integrating some technology in music performance. So I currently have three projects going on. First one is music to video. So it's maybe similar to one of the Jason's project. So it's about real-time image generation and by AI in concert. So it's more like about the AI used for audience. And second project is building up two tools, evaluator and companion. So we are building up those two tools to help streaming performers practice and performance in solo or ensemble. So I can maybe talk about that a little bit later. Then third project is robot cello. This is more engineering and science oriented project, I would say. Um, so we are building up a robot playing instrument, but not only mimicking human human performers posture and sound, but also actually robot learning by itself using various the AI embedded sensors. And also robot will be able to read music it never has encountered before. So it's gonna be very interesting project. Yes, so I can actually maybe talk little by little actually while we discuss various topics.
Okay, great. So we'll come back to that. I would love to hear more, but it might be integrated in some of the questions that I have for both of you. So within the classroom itself, have your particular projects been integrated to the point where the students are using those, so where it's a learning tool?
Yeah, I would say you know, the research that I do is definitely something I use in the class. The With respect to the avatar project, I would say I don't just hand that out to the students because that's proprietary, and it's not only owned by me. So I don't let the students in on that, but you know, we have used it in, you know, dis ensemble performances, you know, so students have interacted with it, and then usually at some point in my autonomous music systems class, which revolves around AI, I set it all up and I say this is what it does, at least, you know. And I think, you know, if you were an enterprising student and, you know, you kind of took my class and you wanted to build your own, you could probably put two and two together and build your own, probably, but it's not, you know, so, you know, because it's like kind of like I teach this piece and this piece and this piece, and if you, you know, oh, sorry, and if you, you know, just sort of like, oh, sorry, my microphone has a mind of its own. You know, if you had you know, had a mind to do that, you could probably, you know, figure it out. It's not that different from what I teach in class. I think I got microphone to stop
So
rebelling on me.
do you use any specific AI tools to teach music education, or is the music education that you're teaching in the classroom designed to specifically teach AI?
The Yeah, so the one thing that I've started teaching in my autonomous music systems class, which is just made it so fun, you know, because periodically you'll find that you don't, you know, when a student has a question, if you're really going deep on a topic, you know, sometimes you just don't know the answer. And so I have these conversations with Chat GPT in front of the class that are just hilarious. And you know, and it often knows answers to questions I don't. You know, but the other thing is it actually becomes I ask ChatGPT to comment on itself sometimes, and with somewhat hilarious results, because we actually caught it lying last semester, which was really which was really interesting, especially like that was actually a news story that was in the press like right around then, that there were like some reports that it would lie in certain situations, and they set up a sort of a sting operation to do insider trading, and it lied about it after the facts. So I was like, well, I wonder if and it was like specifically about a musical topic, which is I was asking it, do you watch what I'm typing as I'm typing, or do you wait until I hit enter? And I had two tabs open, and one of them said yes and one of them said no. And then I asked the other one to comment on the other response, and it justified it both ways. It was like, no, here's why I don't do that. And then the other one said, here's why I do that. So I was like, that's very interesting. So yeah, we use all kinds of anything we can get our hands on, basically.
Well, I'm trying to figure out why ChatGPT did that. I mean, first of all, it's taking what's already out there on the internet. So it's taking from lies. So we have to remember that, right? It only takes from what we've given it. And if we're constantly putting out lies on the internet, musical or otherwise, that's
musical lies. Yeah.
Musical lies. That's a good title of a song.
Yeah. Well, Fleetwood Mac got there first, I think, but
did it? Okay. I knew it sounded familiar.
Yeah.
Dr. Yoon, have you used any of your work, or have you otherwise taught music technology with AI devices, or taught music education?
So I'm a cellist, so I can maybe talk about that a little bit. Maybe it can be out of topic, but anyway, in the viewpoint of a string educator. So right now I teach music theory, music appreciation, and cello and bass. So that those two classes don't have a lot of rooms to really implement the AI tools. I mean, of course I can, but right now, I'm not really actually utilizing those AI tools. In the future, maybe, but for learning instrument actually can be a little bit different. So I would like to use some tools, and I would like to show some examples if you don't mind.
Oh, I would love it.
Great, wonderful. Let me share the screen. Sorry, it takes time. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, so there can be some useful applications for string education. So first one is Violi, and its main feature is more like intonation and rhythm correction. So let's watch this video first. As you can see, it can provide more like the corrections in intonation and rhythm, and also it provides the simple accompaniment, right? So it may be very good tool for intermediate and even beginners. I teach non-major students a lot, actually, for cello and bass. So for them, it may be very useful. And this is second tool. musician. It's actually more for the tool, more for guitar and piano, but it's really interesting app. Let's watch this. Have you heard this app? Have you heard of this app?
No.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well.
I'm enjoying how it sounds too much. That I'm getting distracted and not playing the next note.
Yeah, as you can see, actually, it has more like it provides a gamified learning experience to users. So it will be probably very helpful for beginners, and that it can motivate the students to practice more and to go actually higher level. Then this is another tool, Cello Coach. It will be pretty helpful to develop good sense of ear because string instrument is all about intonation. So let's watch a little bit.
When you have completed it.
So it checks actually the intonation for you, right? I mean, of course, actually the students will develop the muscle memory at the beginning the stage. So it may be helpful. And the next one is My Pianist. I use this app pretty often. So it provides music accompaniment, so piano accompaniment, and it follows the tempo and also musical nuances. So this video is made by me. So let's watch this one. I played a little bit faster. And I play slow here. So it follows pretty well. So it can be very good tool to help students. So some of the students are using this, My Pianist, before they play with real pianist. It will be really good practice. Yeah, so those tools I can use for string education.
Wonderful. Thank you. It's really interesting. So to both of you, do you have a particular pedagogical approach when you undertake teaching about AI and music? And actually, starting with Dr. Yoon, so you're not really using AI in your classes, well, except as a supportive role, right? Because you're teaching very much a traditional classical musical theory, etc., right?
That's right.
Right. So do you find that, so if I'm understanding correctly, you are saying you use this with some of the newer students, beginner students?
That's correct, right? Yeah.
And it's, how much of a difference would you say that these tools are making in their progress? It's hard to tell but from your past experiences, what differences do you see in students that are using these AI tools versus those in the past that hadn't?
So I think generally they can develop the somewhat rhythm and intonation sense faster. Yeah, and let's see. Oh, yeah. So the beginning level, they need to actually complete how to learn the one small piece, one short piece, and so on, right? So definitely that helps because anyway, they will play also the melody as well, right? So they can learn it fast.
Okay. And would you say that much of the actual music taught at Purdue is more along the traditional lines? What percentage would you say of the music education at the university falls into what we'd maybe consider a modern music technological sense versus a classical repertoire sense?
For me, I teach, I mean, I'm conservatory style, actually, the
Mhm.
trained musician. So I teach more like classical music. However, we have we have some other teachers teaching jazz, also some the pop music even as well. And our the new chair, Taeyong Park, Dr. Taeyong Park is pretty well known, the technology person, and also he plays bass guitar too. So he teaches bass guitar too. Yes. So yes, so those are all mixed in at Purdue.
So there's a variety. And
Yeah.
then Dr. Palamara, how would you address that question, the use of the AI tools within the classroom as far as teaching traditional, or would you say that IU Indianapolis is much more technology-based, electronic music-based? How would you describe that and the use of AI within that scope?
Yeah, I would say we are not a conservatory program. The students that we are working with quite often, I'd say the biggest population of students that we have, their main instrument is technology, not an acoustic instrument. We do have students who are playing things like flutes, saxophones, drums, lots of drummers, in fact, because drummers tend to be a little more tech savvy. Guitar players as well. We have a lot of guitar players, but definitely some string players in the mix. Pianists, vocalists of all kinds. The in the classroom, and I think a lot of us are experimenting with AI in a number of different ways. My colleague Dr. Timothy Sue is really on the music information retrieval side of things. So his specialty is in acoustics. So that's right up that alley. Whereas my other colleague, Jordan Munson, he's more on the content generation side. So he's doing things with his students, showing them how to use like SynPlant and also generative AI applications of all varieties. And certainly in my own classes, my students learn about things like magenta and just last semester we were playing around with AI visuals, all sorts of things. I think you and I'm seeing these things crop up sort of everywhere in the students' work. It's something that when they do a project not for an AI class, they have some sort of AI tie-in that pops into there. The last week they did or no, it was Monday. They did the undergraduates did their capstone presentations, and 4 of the 7 had some kind of involvement with AI. My own student, Sarah Lopez, presented her project, which was all about an evaluation of Yamaha's Vocaloid program. So yeah, it's hopping all over the place. Definitely.
Okay, so it sounds like it's a completely natural thing to be integrated instead of being failed for including AI in their work. They're actually they're encouraged to use AI in a class that's not specifically
Absolutely.
AI driven, right?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, I don't know how they're handling how other professors are handling the whole paper writing thing, but that's kind of not a problem for me. So
I've spoken to some English teachers as of late, and they're actually teaching it as a tool, so that students understand how to use it respectfully and appropriately.
actually, yes, for my autonomous music systems, I had forgotten about this. The final paper, actually, I wanted them to generate it with ChatGPT, but many of them came away saying like how difficult it was, because the I gave them this is how I want you to do it, and then also I want it to be good. So like there were pretty strict standards on like what I was looking for, I didn't just want them to like just generate 5 pages or 8 pages or whatever it was, and they said it was an experiment in like, like prompting the generative AI to like really, come up with something good. And you often had to think it out ahead of time, like what you wanted it to say, and then once you got to like, I want it to say these, 10 bullet points, then it actually started to, to make some sense. But it's not as easy as people think, I think.
Do you?
I would like to, I'm sorry, actually,
No,
could
no,
I
please go ahead.
Thanks. Yeah. So we started our music major program 2 years ago. So we are accepting students in music technology and composition and also general music studies right now. So we offer actually various classes in music technology, like AI in music and history of AI in music, and various classes. We also offer more like the double majors. So we have a lot of the students majoring both engineering and music too. So in that point of view, actually, it's quite interesting because they can bring a lot of ideas, and they develop a lot some tools and learn things. Also, we have guitar lab, and yeah, so we also provide a lot of good education for students. I would like to say.
Do you find, Dr. Yoon, that the engineering students that are double majoring or just that are taking music courses, do you find that they, in one of the traditional classes, have an inclination to want to add in AI or some other technology into a traditional class, a traditional pedagogical approach?
From their point of view, actually, their major is engineering, right? I mean, some of them are solely in music. However, they don't have any reluctancy going on to add some of the AI technology in the music, more like a background. So interestingly, actually, there are so many people talented in music, but they happen to be in engineering, so they play instrument, but actually they still actually go for more like the music engineering, and also they can be actually also music technology as well. So yeah, it's kind of mixed.
Okay, great. Thank you. What do you do pedagogically when you do teach AI and music? And what do you have a different approach, Dr. Palamara, as far as teaching that versus other music technological courses? Is there a different approach to it?
I generally I would say that I start off talking, or when I start my autonomous music systems class, I always tell them, this is my favorite class. This is the one that I've wanted to teach my whole life. So this is my baby, um, so in many ways it's kind of like the the culmination of a lot of different things that I've been trying in other classes. Those other classes have been, soft pilots for this one. um the I think that I generally kind of take a a tactic that the student doesn't really need to know much to start in that class. The in fact, one of the things, the class I'm teaching, and I wanted to say, Dr. Yoon, that AI music, history of AI music sounds like an amazing class. I want to take that class, but
Me too. Me too.
that sounds really fun. But the class, when I was designing the class, I said, they said, what should the title be? Should it just be like AI music? And I was like, no, I don't want this to be the one AI class, because that kind of ghettoizes the topic. It really should be bigger than that. My class is autonomous music systems, which is, we want to build, for this class, we are building things that generate their own music. So building systems that generate music. so really with AI topics, I think that the field is so broad. You have to very, finely focus, because the topic of AI is just too giant. I mean, I feel like I could probably spend most of the semester just defining what are we even talking about when we say AI. Like what does that even mean? I mean, there are so many people. I've talked to Google engineers who yell at me when they say, just because they say don't even use the word AI. That's not even a good word. Only say machine learning. Which I disagree with. But there's arguments on all sides of that thing. So I think it takes a lot of time to focus. Like, what are we talking about? We're not talking about all AI topics ever, because that's just too much.
Interesting, because if you think of what the acronym is, artificial intelligence, is it artificial or is it gathered? It's gathered information. We could call it GI, but then that would sound like a gastrointestinal.
maybe not GI, or
So Dr. Yoon, you're not teaching music technology or AI classes. You're teaching the classical based classes, traditional, but they're offered at your school, the AI courses, right?
Yeah, that's correct. And I also actually the advise that the BIP class is vertically integrated project. So it's more like all undergrad students actually who can do research. So they they do actually this all my actually 3 research topics. They work on those. So yeah, I advise that. And yeah, you're right. That I more like teach the traditional musical classes. Yeah, but we offer actually various classes actually, and we have 2 the music technology professors at Purdue.
But I suspect you would be very, very, very capable of teaching those AI classes after speaking with you, and be very intriguing to take one of your classes.
Well, I try, and more like I give more like user viewpoint. So the building tools, actually what kind of UI can be used, or what kind of tools, so functions should be there. And yeah, I kind of follow and advise students to what to have. Yeah.
What would you both consider as ethical considerations when you are facing teaching AI in the classroom, in music particularly, especially with all of the information on the news about laws being enacted to prevent AI from seeping into popular music these days?
Good question. Mind if I take that one? The there are lots of ethical considerations that I bring up in my class when we're talking about AI applications, and it's getting. I feel like it's getting worse, not better, over time. So the general idea that you get from like the copyright office and things, like that whole discussion is just to try to put some kind of like clamp down on this, on the problem, to just say something like, well, AI, anything that's generated by AI is not copyrighted or is not copyrightable, and it's like, well, that is a pretty, strong stance there, but it's kind of the Wild West. I mean, definitely, we were using Suno recently, and I asked it to write to generate a bluegrass tune, and it came back, and it was like immediately like me and another, one of the students who was in the room listening to it just said like, okay, that's Ricky Skaggs, like that's just like a straight lift from Ricky Skaggs. I mean, like, where does Ricky Skaggs go to get the money for that? I mean, does he get some kind of, cut of that? No, I don't think he does.
Was it the expressions or the melody
It
or
was
both?
the voice. It was absolutely his voice. And I was like, oh my goodness, like you could tell exactly where this came from, and it gets, I mean, it immediately gets you into, like just who owns that, and I don't think the problem is solved by making it just slightly different from Ricky Skaggs' voice. That's not enough, I mean, like that's a really dicey maneuver. I think for what I tell my students is that this is like nobody has like the solution right now, but I would say the thing that you as a student need to know is that when you're using these things, if you're using someone else's voice, if it even ends up sounding too much like somebody else's voice, that's getting you into like murky waters. I mean, you could charge cultural appropriation and copyright infringement, all kinds of things. So I would just say to the student, caveat emptor, buyer beware. I mean, just like definitely like you should think twice before using these kinds of projects or products wantonly.
We have a question that popped up on the chat, and we're going to do a question and answer period shortly. Do you have anything to add on the ethical side of the discussion, Dr. Yoon?
I totally agree with Jason. So we need to build up somewhat the regulation and also laws to protect our copyright and creativity for sure. So there is no answer right now, but hopefully, so somebody will build up that. That will be nice. And about my project, actually those my project would not really interfere with those ethical issues so much because it's just really educational tool. However, and yeah, it can even actually help more like the equity and inclusion because all the level of students can use this app and develop their skills. Also, even actually the students in rural areas can get benefit out of it. So it will be more like a helpful. But when and also I don't think actually AI will replace teachers in the future because the teacher's role is not only really the instructor, but also the emotional supporter and the role model. So, but somewhat actually we may lose some human touch in the future a little bit. I don't know how, when, and how much, but it may happen. It's like one of the concern too.
If I could pop in here and answer or give my answer to Mark's question, what about Holly Herndon licensing her voice for performance by others? That is actually, I think, a potential way forward for these things. I mean, what Holly Herndon is doing is yeah, I mean, creating a bespoke AI, like something that is based on your own data, your own voice. And it is totally up to Holly Herndon if she wants to license that out to other people. It would be different if Ricky Skaggs was like, here's my AI, you can make Ricky Skaggs songs. The problem was that, I said bluegrass and got Ricky Skaggs without actually him being involved. That's troubling, but what Holly Herndon is doing, I think that's great. And even the US Copyright Office in their most recent statements have they've sort of said that, I think that like one person making their own model making their own model with their own data, that's totally fine. You can generate that, and that is copyrighted material. It's the using AI to generate something with somebody else's data. That's what is the tough situation these days.
Well, that's interesting because as you say that, we consider, ethical considerations of using, of just stealing music in general. So if we consider just the acoustical qualities of music, melody, chords, etc., and the limitations on that, we could apply that to all of the vocal frequencies and timbres of the human voice in the same way and license it out. So if you don't have a license and it sounds like me, and if we have to go to court to decide, is it 4 notes, 5 bars, a variation of my timbre, it can fall on the same line. It doesn't make it easy, but it certainly can fall on the same line as some other musical legalities we face. Maybe that makes it simpler for us all. I don't know. With the work that both of you are doing, which really are in the forefront of music technology, forefront of AI, can you see beyond that? Because it's a constantly and quickly developing field. Can you see further into the future on other emerging trends in AI music technology, what their implications might be for music education?
Well, that's the question, I guess. Can any of us see the future? When everybody was initially kind of freaking out about ChatGPT, I think 3, that's when the die was cast really with the whole thing. And it started to be used in academic papers, and there were just all of these news stories and things. I was in a panel discussion, and one of the questions was very interesting. The questioner was a teacher. I don't know from where, and I probably shouldn't say even if I did, but their question was, it amounted to, I have these classes that have 100 students in them, and they all have to write 3-page papers, and that I have to read. How can I handle this if they're all writing with ChatGPT? Because there has to be some sort of solution, because I can't be expected to read all of these papers. And my question back to her was, why do you make them write papers that you don't read? And that didn't really go very far. but ultimately, the best AI detector on the market is your own brain. If you watch something and it, we've all had that situation where we're looking at something and we're like, is this AI created? Was this this? And it's getting better and better, but generally, like, I have heard no like amazing music that has been done with one of the, like, hit the button and the song comes out the other end in 5 minutes products. There's and I have also always been able to tell, like, wow, that was a song that is AI created, which really, I think the reason for that is that there's something to human creativity that some people say that it's that AI is not capable of it. I don't agree, but it's certainly doesn't seem capable of it right now, to, like, actually do something, to write a piece that is, like, so amazing that it's going to change somebody's life, that's going to change a lot of people's lives. So I think that really, that really allows us to, that allows for a lot more human creativity. The more creative we are, the more human we are. So that's our opportunity right there, is that we can use AI, we can collaborate with it, but ultimately, like, if there's any, like, real creative work to be done, that's our job. As for the sorry, just to bring that back to your question, as for the future, I think that really that's the question, that is underlying all of the AI things that are going on right now, is that, can AI actually do something creative, something different, not just give me another Nirvana album that's a rehash of Nevermind and In Utero, but, like, give me something new that we've never heard before.
Dr. Yeon-Ji, you want to say something?
Yeah, so yeah, I agree. So there may be audience viewpoint. Um, I'm sure audience would like to actually see people, so human, like more playing difficult pieces instead of robot playing it. Although actually I do actually more like a robot. I don't think actually robot will play human level, like at least now. So and again, actually audience wouldn't want to see actually robot just playing perfectly. Audience audience actually would like to see somewhat the performers get over and actually the challenge themselves and play really difficult pieces. I mean, maybe some mistakes can be actually still actually kind of beauty still. Yes, so I don't think actually the performers and also performance or like artists will extinct. So it's our job is still important. Our job is still be important to produce more like the creative actually productions. And some people say AI will not replace people. Some people who utilize AI well will replace the other human. So it's also possible. So we just need to get used to how to utilize that to enhance our music education, I think.
Great, thank you so much. So we have a few minutes left, and I'd like to open the questions up to any of our attendees. Feel free to put a hand up or pop. We have a question here from, see, Mark has put in a link. Do you want to comment on the link, Mark?
So it relates to the last point that was being made. Donnie Herndon, who used to work for Bell Labs and Nokia, did a number of projects that involved creating AI tools, custom AI tools for artists based on their preferred way of creating. So they have a video, they worked with, they had a residency program, and there was a rapper who worked with them. And so they spent a lot of time talking to him about how he liked to create and what kind of tool would extend his preferred way of creating in a way that he would find desirable. And then they created them. And, you know, they went through iterations, of course. There was a design process, but I thought that that was an interesting approach to the creation of an AI platform where instead of asking artists to adapt to what technologists wanted to create, they tried to find a way to extend someone's artistic process and vision. And I think some of the links to those projects are what I put in the chat.
Oh, great, thank you so much. Do we have any questions for Dr. Palamara, Dr. Yoon?
While we're waiting for more questions, Mark, thank you for that comment. I think that's an excellent idea. You know, companies popping up and saying, you know, we want to make these bespoke tools in AI for specific artists. You know, I think that's fantastic, and I think that, you know, more more companies and more individuals making different things is a great way forward. You know, more small labs, more small companies popping up and doing these little niche ideas is fantastic, you know. So
Yeah, I
all
agree.
for that. Yeah. And I saw you dropped the Dreamtronics voice in there. Dreamtronics they do well, Dreamtronics does synthesizer V, right? That's synthesizer V. Yeah, that's a fantastic product. We used synthesizer V for the AI song contest, the first one we did, which that's basically like a voice synthesizer. Yeah, it's fantastic. And but I have also seen there is a way that you can make your own. there are various ways that you can make your own like, you know, programmable voice synthesizer with your own voice. When that drops, that's going to be fantastic. You know, like when, I mean, like when you can use Utao, but it's very clunky, you know, it's very difficult to like do that. When we get to the point where I could just say, oh, I want to make my own singing voice, you know, or my own instrumental voice, and then I can just sort of like program, you know, MIDI, and it comes out sounding like an awesome cello, and it sounds like me specifically playing my own cello, you know, that would be fantastic. You know, that's a little ways off probably.
Sorry, I
Dana,
didn't.
I'll jump in with a question.
Yeah,
I'm
please.
still wrapping my head around. Thank you, Jason. Wrapping around a question for you. But I guess one thing that came up, Kristen, you gave us a variety of sampling of different types of tools and applications that you're using, and instances and use cases and things like that. Have you picked up on any? Have you noticed any general success trends or trends and successes, general successes with them collectively with the students, or on the flip side, any problems, I guess, across as you look across these different tools, because they all seem to have a connective through line with them. You know, whether it's the cello or the I'm sorry, the violi, the cello coach, the pianist. So are there things that you've been picking up of that seem to be problematic with these early stages of apps, or the opposite? I'm curious about if there's collective thoughts coming after you've sampled such a wide variety of these.
That's a difficult question, kinda. Yeah, thank you. But yeah, it's wonderful. Those collective problems. Well, some people say this may prevent students to develop their creativity. Some of this may be possible, but I don't think so, because the students will have this that use these applications at the early stage. So that I don't think they already have developed their musicality so much. So that we can focus on more like the technical development, meaning the rhythmic sense, and also the intonation sense. Also, the evaluator I'm developing will focus on the detecting the incorrect postures to prevent the injuries. So I think in that sense, somewhat it will be very helpful for the music education, because string instrument is very, very difficult. The reason why is if we need two different tasks, and then we need to organize their movement to make good sound and so on. So and all the muscle memory, and if the tool can help settling the posture, then it will be pretty helpful. So there can be some individual issues, I think, but not really collectively actually the same issues for students. Maybe I will find later, so then I will let you know.
It might be an interesting survey. I mean, like, I think about when student composers started using technology and like listening to MIDI and relying on a certain relying and having something in their head, and then having to get the student out of the MIDI. Things like that happen anytime a new technology comes along, and I'm curious to see what happens with that, if there's anything analogous to that. So
Well, what Dr. Yu
thanks.
was saying was interesting too, because if you can develop something that, you know, if I'm playing incorrectly and there's a wrong note and it's picking up on that, to correlate that to my body posture. You know, it may be that, okay, every time I do this, the AI is saying, but if I do this, it's saying, you know,
Right.
whatever that, however that correlation comes up would be really valuable.
Well, it strikes me that a really sophisticated tool that could do multiple angles or could analyze multiple angles of a student's musical performance could be really useful. I mean, it's sort of akin to like a doctor using a medical, diagnosis AI tool, which is becoming more and more of a thing. You plug in all the data from all of the various tests, and it comes back and says, gives a diagnosis of what this probably is, or orders a test or something like that. I mean, if you're a cellist, it watches your performance and says, these various things. That data should probably, or that diagnosis should still be addressed by an actual doctor, in the same way that the cellist's performance should probably be still addressed by the cello instructor, but it would be a very useful tool.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yes. So the our plan is, after this we develop actually this technology, then we will do huge user studies. So I'm gonna actually use all my connections and just ask people to use this, and that we can actually even compensate. That's actually what NSF is providing to. I mean, meaning actually we I got some actually the fund for that. Yeah, so yeah, it will be interesting. We can gather some data, and we want to see how much and when the AI can help our music education, meaning string education.
That's wonderful. Well, we see a bright future for AI, and for both of your universities that are very lucky to have you. And thank you so very much. We've discussed Dr. Palamara's and Dr. Yoon's amazing developments in AI, whether it's for teaching and helping improve beginners in their musical skills, or developing electronic skills through AI, and creating music through that, which is all very fascinating, and really look forward to seeing what you all develop in the future. We appreciate your time so very much. I hate to cut this off, but in order that I do have other things at 3 o'clock, we will stop here. And if anyone has any questions or wants to reach out to you directly, if you could, I think Dr. Palamara, you've already put your name in the chat, your email. So if you're willing to have them reach out to you with any questions, if you would, feel free to provide your email for people to do so. And otherwise, we hope to see you at an ATMI forum in the future, perhaps at the national conference in Washington, D.C. this fall. And thank you very much. Any last
Thank you.
comments?
Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you very much.
Have a great rest of the day, and the amazing weather that's, at least here in the Midwest, it's turning out to be nice. Aside from the storms that might be brewing, as
Awesome.
per usual.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.